Since the day after the election, November 4th, 2020, it has become a mantra for Democrats, constantly repeated, not to be questioned.
The election is over. The Republicans shamefully pretending otherwise are doing serious damage to our American democracy.
The Republicans should stop their shenanigans about an election that President Trump has already lost.
And now it's time to turn the page, as we've done throughout our history, to unite, to heal.
Lawyers who represented the former president's cause of a stolen election lost every court challenge. Some have been sued and ridiculed, while hundreds of the president's followers are under arrest for the storming of the Capitol. This week, the House takes up H.R. 1, what Democrats call For the People Act of 2021, what Republicans say would relegate their party to permanent minority status. It would nationalize many of the 11th hour changes to election law that key battleground states made to accommodate voting during the pandemic, expanding early voting, absentee voting, and mail-in voting. It would also relax voter ID requirements.
H.R. 1 bans all state voter ID laws at the very same time that it requires all states to put in same-day voter registration. You understand what that means? That means that I could walk into any polling place on Election Day, say that my name is not Hans von Spakovsky, but Tom Swift, and I live at 100 Main Street. They have to register me and immediately let me vote, and they can't ask me for an ID to verify who I am that actually live in that area. I could then leave that polling place and go to the next polling place down the street, immediately register under the name Tom Smith, vote, and keep doing it all day.
In 2005, the Carter Commission report on federal election reform warned of mail-in voting. Quote, it raises concerns about privacy as citizens voting at home may come under pressure to vote for certain candidates, and it increases the risk of fraud. That risk is greater, the report said, quote, where there is some history of troubled elections or where the safeguards for ballot integrity are weaker. In the last election, more than 100 million people cast their ballots by mail or early in person. That was almost double the number of mail-in voting in 2016.
And the whole problem with absentee ballots is this. They're the only kind of ballot that are voted outside the supervision of election officials and outside the observation of poll watchers. And that makes them the most vulnerable to being altered, changed, forged, and it makes voters vulnerable in their homes to pressure and coercion to vote a particular way.
Even as Democrats try to expand these controversial ideas, Republican-controlled legislatures in several key swing states, including Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Arizona, are trying to roll back the 11th hour changes to election law that allowed for mail-in and early voting in the 2020 election. Doug McKelway for the Washington Examiner.